May I have your attention, please?
We are controlling transmission. There is nothing wrong.
The Horror Chronicles.
Whether it's a ghost, spirit, or entity, they all feed on it. That's the whispering, the footsteps, the feeling of another presence.
You won't have a chance to change your minds later, because there'll be no way to get out.
We have such sights to show you.
They will say that I have shed innocent blood. Nope. What's blood for? If not for shedding.
Have you checked the children?
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Boogeyman is real.
That is better.
They're coming to get you.
They're here.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Horror Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and with me, as always, the ever so creepy JT. Oh my gosh, what's going on, man?
Nothing, man. What's up with you?
I don't know, it feels like it's been fucking forever since we've...
It has.
And it's only been like a week and a half.
You know, it's kind of funny. I don't want to say that I miss you, but I miss you.
Of course you do. I understand completely.
I'm used to seeing you most days, and we get to talk for a few minutes, but...
Oh yeah, guys. I mean, they don't know what the hell we're talking about, but I work for a company where I deliver things, and this is our busy time of the year, so...
And it's not drugs.
Yeah, well, I probably actually do deliver drugs.
You may have at some point.
But, so I usually get to stop in at Gerald's work, or JT's work, and see him for a minute, and have a little bullcrap session for a second, but it's been hectic.
It has been. The holidays are always crazy for you.
But anyway, yeah, man, it seemed like it's been forever. I mean, I guess it kind of has been a little bit, huh? A couple weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, we got some stuff that we pre-recorded, so...
I've been working diligently on those.
Which, all right, I'm going to go ahead and say this, by the way. JT does most of the edit, he does all of the editing on this stuff.
Well, I can't take all the credit for it, because we talk about stuff as I'm doing it.
He's, and like the new intro we got, he did it, which I freaking love that thing, man.
Cool. I'm glad you like it. It's not perfect by no means. But I think it turned out pretty cool.
I love it. It's like it's weird because it's kind of like I give you like little hints and ideas.
Yeah.
And then it's like, bam, there it is. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. You know, it was funny. The one part in there, the Candyman.
Yeah.
I threw that in there. Yeah. And it was funny because I was just going to put like a little snippet. But that whole line where he's talking about, blood needs to be shed.
Yeah.
You know. I just had to throw that whole thing in there.
Yeah, dude, it turned out killer. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's like I said, it's like you're in my head, and I just give you a little bit of ideas, and then it's like, bam, that's what he's thinking.
You know, it was kind of funny. I was trying to figure out. You know, I kind of put that together like a kind of like a ransom note. You know, and it was funny because I was trying to figure out how to get the Horror Chronicles together, like. Even if I had to do separate voices, I could never find anybody in a movie that really says Chronicles.
Yeah.
You know, I found this really cool part of Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now where he's talking about the horror. Mm-hmm. And I had that in there for a little while, but it just didn't fit right. So the part where it actually says the Horror Chronicles, I just kind of snipped that out of our regular intro.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It sounds great. I love it. I can't complain at all.
I think it was kind of funny because I had an idea the other day. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and where you say that, I'm going to like pitch shift it or something to where it sounds a little different.
Yes.
And it's a little longer.
I was thinking about
and
that
see what that does. But
yeah.
Anyway, it turned out pretty cool. And we used it on the new one this week.
Yeah. It sounded great, dude. I love it. It sounded awesome. Yeah. Like, it really did.
Cool.
It really sounds great. I cannot complain. I just want to make sure, you get the credit you deserve because you do most of the shit on this, and I just sit here and talk.
I enjoy it, though. I enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm telling you. Oh, by the way, guys, with this episode, it's kind of what we're going to call bullshit sessions. And, I mean...
We do that a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of going to be us talking about whatever we want to talk about, really, as far as maybe horror related, which it probably will be a lot of it, of course, but
we don't ever talk about horror
ever. But
ever.
Yeah, there's no specific thing we're going to be talking about tonight, folks. We're just bullshitting.
I'm kind of interested to see what you came up with for this episode. I know we talked about doing a haunted objects episode.
Yeah.
It's a weird time of the year for both of us. And honestly, I didn't really have time. Well, I didn't make the time to actually sit down and do the research that I normally do.
Yeah.
For something
of course.
like
well,
this.
that's the same way with me, man. I'm so busy now.
I've thrown some notes together, though, and there's little things I want to mention. I may not know all the details about it, but we're going to talk about them anyway.
We'll get into it. I was kind of thinking about it, because like when I'm trying out new things, and which is why, folks, if you're listening to this, kind of let us know what you think about it afterwards. Let me know what you think and stuff like that, because that's how we get better ideas to better serve you guys and have something entertaining for you guys to hear.
Yeah, you saying that, I've listened to a lot of podcasts, different ones this week, and who knows? People may not like the way we do things, but the one thing that you and I are good at is that banter back and forth. We don't ever script anything.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And there's a lot of them out there that they do.
Yeah.
And they try not to let it show, but if you've done this for a little while, which we're new at this,
Oh, yeah.
But you can tell.
Well, not only that, something that from us, me and you, what you're going to get, especially off this podcast, is just the truth about who we are. We're real. Not necessarily truth, but realness. We're just real. This is who we are. This is what we love. And I mean, this is why I can't wait to get other people on here too. Like, as far as like having interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
Because then we get to hear the truth from them. We get to hear their realness.
Right.
And, granted, this is fun. Just getting you bullshit back and forth. Yeah. So, but, we get to have that, I like how you said that, that's like scripted. I don't want to be scripted.
No.
And that's something like with this podcast.
Ain't nobody going to hold me down.
Yeah. Fuck the man. I mean.
Wow.
But, no, man. I like just being real, Like when I was thinking about it, whenever right before we were getting ready to do this a few hours ago, I'm like, man, you know what? I kind of just want to talk about some horror stuff horror-related stuff that we've heard of the week or thought about of the week, or maybe some movies we watched, like today. I just got done watching before I came over here, I was watching Gremlins with the kids.
Nice.
Yeah, that movie is a lot different than
can you consider the Gremlins a horror Christmas movie?
Yes, 100% yes, because A, there's not a whole lot of them, and B, I mean, you gotta, it's good. It's funny, actually.
One of our buddies on Facebook did make that recommendation about us doing a horror Christmas podcast.
I seen that. And actually,
I'm sorry, a horror Christmas movie podcast.
Yeah.
So I think we ought to do it. We ought to talk about, Black Christmas.
Oh, we for sure are going to be.
Gremlins.
I think actually next week, that's what we should be doing next week. Do some research on it. And
I did watch a new movie, Sleigh Bells.
Oh, yeah.
And that was Sleigh, S-L-A-Y, Bells, B-E-L-L-E-S.
Hot chicks?
Not bad. I was expecting a little more TNA. That's kind of why I picked it up. But hey, and didn't get that. But, it was a decent movie,
Yeah.
I did find out, though, that it was done by the same guy that did that movie, The Barn. My God, the guy's name just escaped me. I knew the guy's name, but now I can't remember it. But anyway, he's the same guy that did The Barn, and The Barn was very B-rated, very campy. But what was so cool about that movie is it was total retro 80s throwback.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen that yet, but it is pretty cool.
I think didn't you recommend that to me a long time ago?
We've talked about it before.
That's what I thought.
I had been following this movie because I had seen a preview for it.
That's
and I
right.
followed it for it was like 2 years before I got to see it.
I remember.
And then I finally got to see it. And, it's not the greatest movie in the world, but it's definitely not the worst. And I really enjoyed it. But I enjoy those campy B-grade horror movies.
Well, I was thinking... I've been thinking about it because...
you can tell I enjoy those campy B-grade horror movies.
Yes, by the way.
I just got me a brand new, really, really cool House on Haunted Hill
vintage
poster.
House on Hill.
Yeah, it's, I am a huge Vincent Price fan, and I saw this poster, and I was like, honey, I've got to have it.
Dude, that is, yeah.
And she said, well, how much is it? I said, well, it doesn't matter.
And then you got the Halloween original.
Yeah, so, yep, I had to get the Halloween original. And then, of course, I had to pay homage to the woman.
Lara Croft.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway.
Anywho, yeah.
No, I was thinking, just talking about, it was B-rated, but it was good. I've been thinking a lot lately about movies and how, just one in particular mainly because I keep hearing it constantly gets brought up. Constantly, almost everything that I'm on. And I guarantee you can probably guess what it is. But it's Heredity. Constantly getting brought up. And what I only seen it once. So I'm thinking from now on what I need to do is watch a movie at least twice. And if it's still not for me, try it one more time and then...
I went to the theater and watched Heredity, or Hereditary.
Hereditary, however you want to say it.
And I don't know. I think I missed something because,
dude, I honestly...
The horror fan base has just went crazy over this movie.
It's actually 50-50.
And
it really is.
You think it's really 50-50?
I think it's 50-50. I've been reading, at least on all the sites that I'm on,
okay.
It's about 50-50. Either they love it or they freaking hate it with a passion.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and say that I absolutely hate it. What I'm going to say is, man, I must have missed something.
Well, and that's
Did I fall asleep in the theater?
Well, that's what I was getting at because a lot of people are saying that that you have to watch it again and because you miss certain things. From what they say.
I have heard reference to this movie being the creepiest movie since The Exorcist.
Yeah.
And to me, this movie doesn't even hold a candle to The Exorcist.
At all. And, like I said, though, I've only seen it once. It was really slow build-up.
It was.
For me, dude, when I first heard it, when I first watched it, I thought that it was the last 10 minutes were the best.
Yeah,
so it's like I watched a movie to see the last 10 minutes of it. That's how I felt the first time.
I'd say a little more than the last 10 minutes.
Okay,
once
20 minutes.
Once they got to that climactic part, and then it started spiraling out of control, then I was intrigued with it. But I don't know.
It didn't. But like I said, I think what I need to start doing is, and I've noticed this with other movies. Not just
what? Why don't we plan that? I'll get it some night and just come over here and we'll watch it.
Yeah, that's a good idea because, I've done this with other movies that I didn't like before, and then I watched them again. I'm like, okay, I kind of like this movie.
Yeah.
And that's not. Just
I've done that with a lot of movies.
Not just horror movies, all kinds of other movies.
The one that sticks out to me the most is the remake of Friday the 13th. Absolutely hated that movie the first time I saw it. Absolutely hated it. Now, I own it. I went out and I bought it because I wanted to watch it again.
Yeah,
and I couldn't find it anywhere to catch it. Now I like it. I can sit through it. I enjoy it. The first time I saw it, though, I hated it.
I like that movie, though.
On the other side of that, really funny, and you're going to be shocked about this, Rob Zombie's Halloween. When I first saw that movie, other than the beginning of it, absolutely hated the beginning of it, almost got up and walked out of the theater. After you get past that part, once Michael grows up into a man, I absolutely loved that movie.
Yeah,
the brutality of it.
I like the first one.
But after all of that, and after I walked away and thought about it for a few weeks,
you don't like it.
I still don't care for that movie.
Yeah, see, I like the first one. Is okay. Second one, absolutely horrible. Sorry, I try not to be super biased, but I'm gonna tell you the truth on it, man. I can't. I didn't even. It
just wasn't my thing.
I don't even remember watching it. I remember bits and pieces of it, and
yeah, I'll agree with you on that.
That
whole freaking dream sequence with the horse. And I don't know.
I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, though, everybody's got their own interpretation.
It's funny how that works, though. Like, sometimes you'll watch a movie and you'll love it one time and you'll hate it the next.
Yeah. See, I really like.
And then there's classics that no matter how many times you watch it, it's always a fantastic movie, and you're always, and we all have those movies. Halloween, The Lost Boys. For me, Salem's Lot.
Silver Bullet.
Salem's Lot is one of my favorite vampire movies of all time. There was another one I just had on the tip of my tongue, but there's those movies that you just absolutely love and cherish.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like we said,
Phantasm. We just did an episode on that. Just.
Yeah, dude. But I really think that I'm gonna have to start giving movies a second chance or something. Because as a horror fan, I watch everything.
Yeah. Well, and I try to go into movies now with an open mind. Because I've seen the Friday the 13th remake then the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Dude.
I try and go into these with an open mind.
To be honest with you, the Nightmare on Elm Street, because Nightmare on Elm Street is my top 5 series, 100%. And
what's your number one? Just
my number one series?
Yeah.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Phantasm would be
I would have to go there.
Phantasm is my number 2.
Yeah.
And then probably Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'd be a toss up for me between Friday the 13th and Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. As far as for me.
For me, my top would be Halloween. My second would be Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I've just grew up with those movies. I absolutely love them.
But what I was getting at with the Nightmare on Elm Street is I absolutely love that movie except for Krueger. I like the movie.
And I even like the guy that plays him.
Yeah.
But I didn't like him playing him. I think what it is we've gotten into that whole Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, there's just some people.
Cannot, it's like replacing, Doug Bradley as Pinhead,
Yeah, you can't.
You just can't.
Robert Englund in that as Freddy Krueger. That is who Freddy Krueger is.
Yeah.
And there's just no one who can get away with. I honestly don't know. Now, see, I know that they're talking about making a remake, and Robert Englund's doing some of the what am I thinking of? The word I'm thinking of. Some basically giving some feedback. He's trying.
He's consulting.
Consulting, yes.
Okay.
He's a consultant on it.
That's cool.
And he's talking about having Kevin Bacon play.
I have heard that.
As far as physical looks, I can see that.
Yeah.
He could actually probably pull it off. Now,
I could too.
Kevin
Bacon was fantastic in The Hollow Man.
Oh, dude, I like Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Tremors? Come on, dude.
Yeah.
That
Stir of Echoes.
Stir of Echoes,
those were good.
What was that movie? Okay, you might know, you might not know. It's a Kevin Bacon movie, man, and for some reason I cannot remember for the life of me. But he is on some kind of trip with kids, I want to say, they're floating there in a river, doing whitewater rafting or something. And he's like dude, I've been trying to think.
Man, you stumped me on that.
See, I've been trying to think of the.
I know what that is.
I've been trying. I want to watch that movie again, but I cannot for the life of me.
Down the river. Or
something about the river, yeah, dude.
Something like that.
But he was great.
Here's some trivia. What was the first movie Kevin Bacon was ever in?
Friday 13th, Part 1.
Part 1. Friday the 13th, Part 1.
Yeah, he gets stabbed after he gets done having some playtime.
Man, we didn't even roll the dice for that one.
Hey, man, I know. There's some stuff I do know,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. I'm talking about my wife just bought me the Trivial Pursuit, the horror version.
We're going to have to bust
that out.
But, I love the new, to get back to it, the Nightmare on Elm Street, as far as the darkness of it. The darkness of it was really, really good. And, I just didn't. That's the only thing I can say about it. And I don't like the way they kind of force-fed the whole, he was a pedophile. I mean...
Yeah, they mentioned that in the original movie, but they didn't shove it down your throat like they did in the remake.
It's kind of crazy because when you think about it, like for me, that's one of the biggest things. I don't want to get too deep into this, but one thing for me that's gonna, you mess with kids. You mess with kids, and I'm done with you. You can rot in hell. If you mess with my kids, I'm gonna send you there. You know what I mean?
Right.
But with Nightmare on Elm Street, man, Krueger was the hero. Not necessarily the hero, but he was
the anti-hero.
Yeah, he was the. But what I'm saying is, you basically caught yourself rooting for him.
Yes, I do that in a lot of movies.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned that because I was just thinking the other day, well, I've thought about this often, that there are too few movies where the villain actually wins.
Yep.
And I want to see that more.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, it's a reality. Because good guy doesn't always win. It's like
there are a few out there, but not very many.
I teach that to my kids. I mean, granted, I should say I teach to my old. My youngest is too young to understand, but I tell him, I said, listen, life is not all basically sunshine and rainbows, as Rocky would say. In the Rocky, he said, it hits you hard, and there's evil out there.
Yeah.
And the good guys don't always win.
No.
But you can be prepared and ready, the best you can. And so, I mean, yeah, but it's, I don't know, it's weird now that I think about it, because it almost ruins it for me now that I'm a dad too, because I 100%, man,
well, now you're in protection mode.
Well, to me, a pedophile is the worst fucking lowest piece of shit that you could think of on this earth. You know what I mean? Anyone who would hurt a kid or touch a kid, I would, but
anyway,
I better get away from that. Let me get away from that before I go into a dark place. Yeah. But anyway, no. But yeah, I heard that they're going to be doing a part 2 possibly of the Nightmare on Elm Street, another remake. So I don't know if it's going to be a remake or if it's going to be like a new kind of like how Halloween was, just a new, basically, part 2.
A reimagining.
Yeah. Which would be cool, I think. If Kevin Bacon could probably pull it off. If he could, If he could get
I could see that
the swagger really down, kind of, physically he could, because the way he looks, I think he could pull it off. As far as the looks go,
yeah. The voices, and it's Robert Englund had such a way with the camera and his movements and even though he was covered in prosthetics, his facial expressions.
And that's something I know, and that's something that's pretty cool about the Nightmare on Elm Street series is it's like Krueger knew you were watching.
Yeah,
it's like he knew, like Deadpool knows he's in a comic,
right?
So he's always talking to the camera.
And he looks at the camera a lot. Yeah.
He's always that's why Deadpool knows he's in a comic. So that's why he does that. So it's almost like Krueger knows, whenever just for one of my favorite one period is Dream Warriors. Or not Dream Warriors, Freddy's Dead. That's my favorite one.
Okay, yeah.
And the part where forgot the power glove.
Yeah.
And he's looking at the camera.
Yeah.
He does it a lot in the movie. It's like he knows that that's a cool little aspect of it. Like he knows that you're looking. It's pretty cool.
Something I noticed the other day because some scenes popped up. I was watching something. I was probably watching that History of Horror with Eli Roth. It's funny. I'm so used to seeing Freddy a certain way. Okay. Because I've gotten used to the newer movies. If you go back to the original movie,
I just watched it. He
looks more grotesque and more
kind of melted.
In the newer movies, he looks more comical, more cartoony.
Yeah, in the original, I just watched it. Not maybe
in the original, he's got the slime all over
I watched
him
it in October.
The rotted face, and
I watched it in October. So when I watched it. I made a mistake of my son catching the first little bit of it, and I'm like, oh crap! So I had to turn it off because he gets obsessed with it, and now he walks around talking about Michael Myers.
Yeah. Well, and like the intro, I had to throw in that little Nancy part with "Don't go to sleep."
Whatever you do not fall asleep.
I did that for you, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Man, I'm telling you, those movies are just.
They're great. And I even love... It's funny how much I love this movie, the Freddy vs. Jason movie.
I love that movie.
It is fantastic. It
Dude.
really is.
Yeah, my wife makes fun of me because, and she does this crap to me all the time. Because, like, you know, everybody has, like, their celebrity crushes or whatever.
Oh my God, you got a celebrity crush on Freddy Krueger?
No, like, well, they're not really crushes, but there's two chicks in there that, you know, and it's freaking, the girl who played in Ginger Snaps. And she's the one that has the hat and smoke. You know, her boyfriend's the one.
Oh, yeah.
And then Kelly Rowland.
Okay.
And my wife's always like, "Oh, look, Kelly's in here." And I'm all like, "Oh, Jesus!" Now I give me crap all the time. You know what I mean?
Oh God.
But I like that movie a lot, and
it's a fun watch.
It's fun.
That's
the main thing. It's really fun, and they got some cool parts in there that like with the van, the brothers' van. You know what I mean? That thing's cool.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. For me, with movies, it's kind of the things that when I was a kid, I remember what I was thinking when I was a kid, and like with that one kind of brought me back to like I remember when I was younger, like I'd have to have a cool van or like a cool truck, and like you know I'd be driving.
I wanted a cool van because of the A-Team.
Yeah, buddy, but the little things like that kind of throws you back, and I like the way that like
dude, some of the kill scenes in that movie were.
Dude,
awesome.
What I was just talking about when he pulled that kid up into bed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a great scene. I really love the scene where he shows up at the rave party in the middle of the cornfield.
Yep.
And they set his ass on fire, and he throws that freaking flaming machete through that guy, dude.
Well, and it shows like an aerial view of him walking through the cornfield on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's killer. That was a really good scene.
Cool movie. Very cool movie.
But something funny I was going to mention. Talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, I used to have a life-size, what do they call those?
A blow-up
pop-ups. They call them like the ones that you see.
He had a blow-up doll. Why do all blow-up dolls look like they're surprised?
Oh. No.
Sorry.
I had this what they call a pop-up, which is basically the life-size.
Oh, the cardboard cutout?
They're called pop-ups.
Okay.
And I had one of those.
That's funny because I was just looking at some of those the other day. They had a Jason one and it had a pretty good price on it, and I almost bought it.
Yeah,
because I thought, man, that would look really cool. And
well, see, and like anyone who's seen, Nightmare on Elm Street, especially like Freddy's Dead, they at the end, she kills him, she's throwing all these knives and stuff at him and doing all this. And I was huge. I've been into martial arts for a long time, so I've been huge into that. I've always had weapons and stuff. I've always used them. I've always done all this nunchucks. And, my first tournament I went to in Taekwondo, I got first place in weapons.
Nice.
So, like, I loved it. And I'm
going to piss him off and he's going to beat my ass.
But, I used to throw knives. That's why I practiced throwing knives at Freddy Krueger. He'd be up in my room, dude, in the corner. I'd be throwing knives at him. I'm practicing. And I'm not even... Dude, I'm telling you. That's what... It just...
Come at me, bro.
Yeah. Well, that's where I practiced throwing my knives, man. There'd be holes in the wall. My dad's like, what the hell's going on?
What are you doing?
I was killing
that's
Freddy,
awesome.
Man.
That's awesome.
And it was funny because I remember it was crazy is that he was up in my room, and my room was pretty small. The house I grew up in was really small, and my room was real small. And he was in the corner just staring at me all night long. You know what I mean? I had him up all the time. It's not like I put him away.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's
cool. A cool little aspect of it. It just fed into my love and want to be able to. It's gonna sound fucking crazy, but I was like, man, I wish a serial killer would come to my town.
There actually is right now 2 escaped people that killed a person in Bell.
Oh no, they got him.
Oh, did they catch him
in Florida?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They went.
My wife was like, "Is the garage locked? Is the house locked?"
Yeah, they caught him in Florida.
Did you lock up that crawl space when you got underneath there?
They caught him in Florida. They caught him in Florida, man. They had a high-speed chase.
Okay, right on. I didn't know that.
Well, it's like, why would you drive the same vehicle? They got APB on you out nationwide when you're on a murder charge.
We were watching a chase on the news last night. Actually, it was in St. Louis, and it was funny because I walked into the kitchen and was doing something. And I hear my wife in the living room. She's like, dumbass, you should have stayed on the highway. And the thought ran through my head is, man, this guy ought to get off the highway, because you get on the highway, you're stuck. I mean, you can't. There's only one road.
What's crazy about it is, too, is like, I don't know why they have high-speed chases. They have a helicopter.
Yeah.
Just get your cops out around where the area is and just let the guy go guy or girl until they freaking stop. Yeah. And you got a helicopter, and then you'll know right where they're at.
Yeah.
And that way you're not driving 100-something miles an hour down,
And making them drive faster.
Yeah, I never did. Well, that's not what pays. They need to have that. Well,
I tell you, I'm in the automotive business. They've got a button that they could stop anything.
Yes. Nowadays.
So, yep. I mean, I don't know why they don't utilize that technology, but
yeah,
they don't.
They got to have an excuse for where all the money goes that they're freaking laundering. It's like the government.
The government uses a lot of money.
You guys paid $700 for a hammer, huh?
I was thinking about that today, because we just lost George W. Bush. God rest his soul. But, we went watching the funeral yesterday and today. I thought, oh my God, look at the amount of money the government has spent on. I mean, is he worth it? By all means. I mean, he was a fantastic president, but man, they spent a lot of money.
Yeah. When I die, I want to go out in a blaze of glory.
When I die, nobody's going to know because my wife's going to hide the body.
Yeah. Yeah, I just read a thing, too, on Facebook about a soldier, a special forces guy, and he got killed, and they did a Viking death for him. They put him on a boat.
Yeah.
Lit the boat on fire.
Shot him with the flaming arrow.
Freaking cool, dude.
That is cool.
That's pretty cool. I told my wife I wanted to be...
I just don't want to die. I want to live forever. I want to be a damn vampire.
Vampire. I'm a damn vampire. We're going way too far off.
Yeah. Man, hey, hidden object or haunted objects.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Hey, you guys got to understand, we haven't really talked to each other in a while. So
yeah, it's been at least a couple weeks.
This is one of those no bullshit kind of conversations. This is how we actually are when we get together. This is what we talk about.
Yeah, and
this is why we started a podcast.
Yeah. Like I was saying too, it's cool. I can't wait to be able to get different people from all walks of life.
Yeah, yeah.
And get them.
When's your friend going to join us?
Oh, Breezy.
She
I just talked to her, and she had a C-section, so
right.
She just kind of.
She should be good. Put a Band-Aid on that.
Yeah, come on. She said. Actually, it's real cool. She it's kind of crazy because her twins were actually very rare. So they're doing like a study on them.
I hope they're not evil twins.
Well, she hopes they are. So you'll understand Bree whenever she gets on Breezy when she gets on here. She's identical to me except she's female, and yeah, it's crazy. But no, her twins are pretty rare, and I guess they're doing a study on them and stuff. And I don't know where I was going. You said something about C-section. Yeah, they did some new thing with the C-section.
Is she going to be okay with us talking about this?
Oh, she's fine. She
don't give a fuck.
I'm fucking telling you. You guys have no clue. You think I'm bad. Wait till she gets on here. She's awesome. Awesome chick.
We're definitely going to have to hit that explicit button when she gets on here.
She's an awesome chick, and she's like my best friend. Besides my wife, she's the closest thing to my wife that can be. As far as best friends go,
that's pretty bad. I don't even know her, and I'm over here talking shit about her.
Don't worry.
Sorry, Bree.
She'll get you back, dog. Don't worry about it. But no, back to horror stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up and see what new movies are going to be coming out for next year.
Dude, we got to go see The Possession of Hannah Grace. I want to see that so bad.
Is that the movie? I just read something very briefly. I caught it, and it said something about people walking out of the screening.
Possibly. Basically, what that movie is about is what happened after the exorcism.
Mm-hmm.
Not the exorcist, but what happens after the exorcism is over.
Yeah.
Is what that movie's about. God, dude, I want to see it so bad.
It looks wicked. So
bad.
Yeah, I just read something about... God dang it. I should have remembered it. I caught a glimpse of it. I didn't really read the whole thing. I just read that it said movie was so disturbing that people were walking out of the screening. I was like, wow.
You know, they say that about movies from time to time, and I wonder if that's their way of trying to get more asses in the seats.
Well, that's what happened with The Exorcist, though. I watched a documentary about that the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And,
well, you got to think, that movie came out in, 73?
Uh-huh.
In 1973, our society was not ready for The Exorcist.
Dude, I was watching, like, they were interviewing people as they were coming out of the movies. Mm-hmm. They had cameras out there, and I was watching them, and people were, like throwing up. People were, like, freaking crying and bawling, you know. And that movie still freaking gets me, man. It's
a great movie. I mean,
it holds up.
Oh, very well. Very well. I just watched it not too long ago. My wife, she has seen it. She refuses to watch it again. You know, and hey, that's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, you don't want to force it out, and they can do whatever they want, and you know, that's why we have podcasts so we can freaking talk about it and watch stuff. And yeah, it's something that I've been freaking just for years. I'll say for years, about 2 years, I've been really wanting to do something like this, and I've been really trying to find out which way to go about it. So this is, to me,
he had to find the right person stupid enough to do it with him.
Yes. No. Does what it's told and puts the lotion on the skin. No,
or else it gets the hose again.
I am trying to find the right, I don't want to say genre, because this is what I actually love, you know what I mean? Yeah. But finding a way to put everything I love into one thing, like horror movies, the paranormal, which is something I really, really love, is the paranormal.
Dude, and hanging out with your buddy.
Exactly. Well, that's my point. Having someone finding a way to put all that together into one, and then finding somebody or other, and maybe more than one person that can have the same amount of love and compassion that you do for it, and B, you be able to actually talk to that person, you know, freely. You know, that's something that
because it's funny. I mean, I'm a weirdo, but you know, you try and talk to some people about this stuff, and they're like, I don't want to talk about that, you know, or I don't want to talk about this, or I absolutely love horror, love it. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah,
and I've been that way since I was a kid.
Same thing.
Now, I'm not morbid, you know, but I love being creeped out.
Well, it's just like we don't have to be stupid horror, you know? Like for me...
You know, it's just... music's the same way.
Yeah, dude.
I am total metalhead. I have been ever since I was a kid. Can't stand country.
I don't know, man. Have you heard Chris Stapleton? That can sing, boy.
I don't give a shit.
Dude, he can sing anything, though. I guarantee he can sing fucking metal. That dude's a...
I'd like to hear that dude do some Maiden.
Dude. Well, what do you think about that old Powerwolf?
That was pretty good, dude. I've heard of it's kind of funny. My 17-year-old niece is into them.
Yeah.
So, and she was telling me about them, but I'd never listened to them.
Night of the Werewolves, man.
Sounds pretty good.
Night of the Werewolves.
I'll be downloading some of that tomorrow. I just picked up a good friend of mine, born in St. Louis. He moved to Tucson years ago. He has a band called Motive, and they just released a new CD.
Oh, yeah.
And man, it's killer.
Yeah, I love music too, and we'll incorporate music sometimes on this, guys. I don't want to throw anyone off, you know. And who knows, we may spin off once we get this going enough.
Man, we have been rattling on for almost 40 minutes about nothing.
Hey, it's all good conversation.
And everything. Man.
But you know, we might spin off sometime and do we're
gonna do a metal episode.
But what I was gonna say is, as far as like, you know, being morbid, because you loved it since you're a kid, because I did too. But it wasn't morbid stuff. It was like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Is that morbidity?
Yeah. Well, Krista's not here to make up words for us. So.
Well, that's what I was trying. I was like, man, your wife made me sound stupid the other night.
Yeah, she's stupid.
I got to come up with some shit.
She's stupid smart.
Ask her if morbidity is a...
But,
no, I'm just kidding.
No, like, Ernest Scared Stupid.
Ernest Scared Stupid. Dude, I have not seen that in years.
My son loved it for a while. I loved that movie, man. That was one I watched every Halloween when I was a kid. I watched it every freaking Halloween when I was a kid, man.
I don't know that I've ever sat through that whole movie.
Oh, dude.
I don't know. Maybe I have.
It's corny, but it's earnest. All those movies are corny.
Yeah.
But and then you got, like we talked about before, Lost Boys, Silver Bullet. Yeah. Movies that didn't have a whole lot of... Silver Bullet almost had no gore at all in it.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie. Told a really good story. And like we were talking...
Yeah, you got to have a good story to suck you in.
Yeah, man. And yeah, that movie was really good. Silver Bullet's so good.
Yeah.
Such a classic.
Now, my favorite werewolf movie was An American Werewolf in London.
Great movie.
Which had a substantial amount of gore in it. Sorry, got to give props where props are due. Greatest werewolf transformation ever put on film.
Yeah.
The guy that did that is a makeup artist. His name is Rick Baker. And that guy is phenomenal.
Speaking of that, Joe Rogan, JRE podcast, I tell you about all the time. He's got one of those that he made for him. That Rick Baker made for him.
That's cool.
And as soon as you walk to his studio, it's in the front.
Yeah.
Staring at the front door all big.
That's awesome. Well, hey, while we're kind of talking about that, and we've talked a little bit about music and stuff, a couple guys in the music industry that people are going to know. Metallica's Kirk Hammett, huge horror fan.
Yeah.
He is a horror collector. His house is full of all kinds of horror memorabilia. He is you think we're bad? He is over the top.
Well, he's got the money.
Of course. Another guy is Scott Ian from Anthrax. He's the same way.
Yeah.
Scott Ian did these episodes on YouTube. They were... they were Nerdist episodes or whatever, where he was going to different movie not locations, but where the how do I put that? He would go and where the makeup artists were testing their stuff, and they would put makeup on him, and I saw several episodes where he got a knife shoved through his mouth, and one he got his head cut off, and and the shit looked really cool,
Yeah.
But yeah. Horror freaks and metal
all over, man. That's can't wait. That's something we need to do soon. Is a soundtrack episode. About different soundtracks we like.
Yeah, there's some great ones.
Oh, yeah, man. Horror, I think horror movies have, the greatest soundtracks. Because they can do that. You know what I mean? As far as, movies go, it's we have to have a love thing here, we have to have this here. Metal's just, horror and metal go together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The one that sticks out to me here recently was this movie called The Devil's Candy.
Yeah.
That movie started off with, if I remember right, it was Metallica playing the intro music for it. And the dude, his daughter, comes walking out of her bedroom wearing a Slayer shirt. And the entire soundtrack is nothing but thrash metal. Fantastic.
Speaking of that,
it was a cool movie too.
Did you see that thing I tagged you in on Facebook with
the penguin?
No, with Jason. He sits up out of his chair and it says Slayer across him. He sits on Jason X. You didn't see that?
Oh no!
Dude, you have to watch it.
Oh my god!
It's funny.
All the cool shit.
It shows Jason on Jason X. He sits up whenever they unthaw him.
Yeah.
And that hot chick is over in the whatever sink washing her hands doing whatever.
Yeah. Dude, that is the greatest kill scene ever.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, but whatever.
That's the one where he freezes her face.
Nitrous oxide, yeah.
Yeah, it's nitrogen.
Or nitrogen.
Liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
He freezes her face in it, and her face freezes solid, and then he pulls her up and slams her head into the side of the sink, and her head her face explodes. And what's so cool about that scene is if you watch it really close, after he slams her face down on the sink and her whole face just crumbles off, he actually pulls her head back and he looks at it yeah, I fucking did that,
What's funny about
it's just so brutal
about this little thing is it shows him sit up, and when he sits up, it says Slayer across his chest.
Nice.
And then it looks over there, and the chick has got Nickelback, the lead singer, Nickelback's face on.
Oh my god! What's that guy's name? Kroger, Mike.
Something Kruger or Kroger.
Mike
Kroger.
Well,
Anyway,
I don't know.
he thinks
Fucking Nickelback.
it's basically Slayer versus Nickelback. And he
God.
fucking smashes. It's hilarious. I figured you'd fucking get a kick out of that.
Well, I would if I would have seen it. Man.
Yeah. Nah,
I need
man.
to watch that.
It's so funny, man.
We're way off on a limb now.
Oh, I don't care.
Anyway,
We're doing good.
we're just having a good time.
It's been a couple weeks, and
Yes.
this time of year I'm super busy, and I don't have a whole lot of time to, like you said, delve deep into certain things.
Yeah.
But a couple of things. I mean, we can talk about a couple haunted objects.
Yeah, for sure.
Some funny stuff I found on some haunted object stuff. You can buy them on eBay.
Oh, yeah. I got a couple of those.
Did you get the genie ring?
No.
So check this out.
Oh, God.
For sale on eBay, okay? For sale. You can get the genie ring. The owner claims that the ring holds the spirit of, I'm going to say, Micilia, Micilia, a real-life genie queen.
Wow.
who oddly enough requested that they use her name in the eBay ad.
That's strange.
Well, yeah.
Where the hell did that come?
Hey, man.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Did you get the haunted bra? Dude.
Okay, so we both went in totally different directions on this.
So,
Dude, we're just gonna forget about my shit.
Well,
You go.
I couldn't. I didn't get the rest of the stuff I wanted to, but I gotta do the haunted bra one because it's funny.
Hey, they're boobs.
Boobs. You sound like my 5-year-old.
That's funny because I probably act like him too.
Oh, dude. It's funny conversation, man. I just had my 5-year-old. He goes, Dad, I'm gonna get married. I said, oh yeah, you're gonna get married now? And I'm having this conversation through the rearview mirror because I'm driving and he's talking to me. And he goes, yeah, I'm gonna get married because when you're married, you can kiss a girl. I said, oh yeah? He's like, yeah, and you can take showers together. And I'm like, what? He's like, you and Mommy take showers together. I said, yeah, well.
We're just conserving water.
I said, let's just not talk about that. And he goes, I know what girls have, Dad. I said, oh, yeah? He's like, yeah, they got boobies.
They got boobies.
Sorry, I had to tell
That's awesome, dude.
But
awesome.
So now he's going around talking about getting married and shit all the time. So that's my kid.
I did that too, and it didn't work out.
But, yeah, you see him. I should have told him, now you see them even less when you get married, son.
Need to forget about getting married.
Anyway, let's get back to this haunted bra. So it says on there that whoever wears the bra, male or female, will constantly receive admiration and gifts. And according to the seller...
Shit, I need one of those.
And according to the seller of it, if you place the bra near a lit candle, you'll see the spirit who haunts the bras in full apparition.
Huh.
Well, yeah, I don't know about all that. And I got some of this, guys. Most of these I got from an article by Kelly McClure. I think it was for Discovery or something like that was the article I was reading it off of. But I thought that was funny. I'm like, really, a hunter bra and a freaking genie ring?
I'm just going to burn my notes.
No.
Right now.
You think mine are stupid. I did find a cool one, though, actually. That's not kind of funny. It's called Anna's Dress. And
is that the wedding dress?
Anna Baker's dress.
Okay, I did hear about that, but
well, I mean, just a little quick thing on it. It says that it belonged to a lady named Anna who never got to wear the dress. She got it made, but she never got to wear the dress, and because she died a spinster in 1914. Which I don't know if you know what a spinster is.
Yeah,
but it's a woman who
an older woman that has never been married.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But the dress is on display in the Baker Mansion Museum in Altoona, PA. And workers at the museum.
So was this her house? Didn't you just say her name, Anna Baker?
Yeah.
So it's her house, and now it's a museum.
Yeah, it's a museum. Yep. And,
It must be pretty cool to have a museum out of your house. I mean,
dude, I'm telling you, that's a big house. I mean, most people back probably when she was.
yeah, back then,
That's what the bigger your house was, the better off.
cost you $500 to build a 20,000 foot square mansion. Or 20,000 foot square mansion.
Yeah.
A 20,000 square foot
mansion.
Wow.
But a lot of the workers at the museum say that they walk in on it and it's like the dress is moving around like on its own, like it was dancing, or if it was just doing whatever. Like most of the people who work there say they've at least once seen it happen with their eyes.
Wow.
That's kind of cool.
That's pretty cool.
And this is stuff that like I got to get online and check out some more of those on eBay ones you can buy.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued with the brawl.
Yeah.
I am.
I could see, as long as it's fit a freaking. I'm at least a freaking high B cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of haunted stuff did you look at?
Well, damn, now I'm going to feel silly. I really am. But I do have just a couple things I want to talk about, and then I want to give some mentions. And you have heard about a lot of these, so we're going to be able to pull this off. All right?
Sweet.
Not like pulling the brawl off, but,
No, well, what the hell? I only need to use 2 fingers for that.
I know we talked about this the other day, the Tallman bunk beds.
Yes.
Okay. I kind of went in and looked at a little bit of that, and there's a little story behind it. So basically, this happened in this town. It's called Harricon, Wisconsin. Very small town. I think they said the population was like 3,800 or something like that. So,
yeah,
St. James size town.
Yeah.
Okay. Never had anything, no hauntings whatsoever in this town ever. Okay. So this story happened between May of 1987 and January of 1988. So not quite a year. So basically in early February of 87, there was this couple. It was Alan and Debbie Tallman, and they had brought home a bunk bed that they had bought at a secondhand store. Mm-hmm. They brought this thing home, and they had it in the basement for a while, for just a few days or whatever, until they were getting a room ready to take it up for the kids or whatever. So after they took it up for the kids, they started noticing weird things happening, around the house or whatever, and never really put 2 and 2 together on it. But basically, they had a son, Danny, so they put this bunk bed in one of the bedrooms, and they had a son, Danny, who was in the bedroom next door, and he started noticing that his clock radio would start acting weird, and like the station would change on it, to the point he told his parents he could physically watch the indicator move on the clock radio.
Holy crap.
Okay. So, they didn't really think too much about it. Well, one day the father, Alan, was downstairs in the basement and he was painting something, and he had laid the paintbrush down on the table and went upstairs to eat some lunch. And when he came back downstairs, the paintbrush was back in the can, but the bristles were sticking up in the air. It was handle first into the can. So, of course, he thought the kids had done it or whatever, and he kind of chewed on them about it. Well, then there was a story about the youngest daughter claimed that she had seen a witch, and, never could prove that or whatever. Yeah. But the father started getting worried. He worked the night shift. Okay, so one night, he came home at 2:00 in the morning, pulls up in front of the garage, and as he gets out of the garage, he hears this voice say out to him, "Come here." Well, he's like, what the hell was that? It's 2:00 in the morning,
Yeah.
So he walked around the back side of the house wondering where this voice is coming from, and there's nobody there. So he comes back around the house, but when he steps in front of the house, he notices there's windows on the garage door.
Yeah.
The garage is on fire.
Holy shit.
He runs in the house, grabs a fire extinguisher, goes running out into the garage. There's no fire. There's nothing burnt, no damage whatsoever in the garage. Nothing going on, okay? So he started sleeping in his daughter's room.
Yeah.
Just kind of as protection for her. That was on January 7th when he thought the garage was on fire. So shortly after that, he started sleeping in her bedroom. Well, one night while he was in her bedroom, this fog had come out and had kind of gathered around his body, and he heard this voice yell out, "You're dead." So then they started getting priests involved and getting these people come out. And so finally, one of the family members talked them into moving away from the house. They ended up burning the bunk bed.
Yeah.
They drug it outside and set it on fire. After that, they didn't have any experiences in the house. And then they ended up moving out shortly afterwards. But there's been some people who have moved into that house after them, never had anything happen. Kind of strange, some haunted furniture. Now, I know you and I had talked about, you had said something about you had heard about a story.
Yeah, it was off of the it was off a podcast called Real Ghost Stories Online with Tony and Jane Pierce. We talked about it before.
Yeah.
That podcast. Well, they have a thing called bunk bed bells that they hand out to people. So basically, I don't know if you noticed this, but on their show, a lot of people who call in about their stories, it's kind of like Jim Harold's Campfire. You call in with your stories.
Okay.
And a lot of them are involved with bunk beds and stuff like that.
That's odd.
And so they got these little things.
I had never heard of that. I just kind of ran across this.
And they said I caught from them. I'm gonna maybe look it up and go further into it later. But something about there were some bunk beds that came out made with these satanic or some kind of symbols on them already.
I wonder if it was the same story.
I wonder.
Maybe I didn't get all the information.
Yes, that's when you said that. I'm like, I wonder if that was part of.
Yeah, because I never found anything. Because I checked several resources on that.
Yeah, they mentioned that on their show, and that's why it's a big thing on their show. On their podcast is that it's bunk beds, and a lot of them talk about it. Well, and you got to think about it. A lot of your stories you have that scare you from when you're a kid.
Yeah.
A lot of people have bunk beds. A lot of families, kids had to sleep in the same room, so a lot of them had bunk beds. How my kids got bunk beds, but granted they both sleep with our room. Right. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But.
Well, it's kind of funny. The reason why I just smiled is it made me think about the 4th chapter in the Insidious series. Where her and her brother had a bunk bed, and the brother disappeared. And she found the whistle underneath the bed.
Underneath it. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cool.
Because in that movie he was looking out of the
yeah, because he had a blanket,
the sheets over it.
Yeah, or a sheet.
And then the freaking chick or whatever was inside there with him.
Yeah.
That's creepy
that movie was really creepy.
It's a really good movie,
really
man.
creepy.
I cannot wait to do those. We need to save those for later on.
Yeah.
But those Conjuring.
Yeah, we need to do that whole series, the whole Conjuring universe thing.
Yep. For sure.
I love those movies. The whole, like those Insidious movies, every one of them, I mean, they're just chock full of creepiness, and the Conjurings are the same way.
Yeah.
But another one that I want to talk about, which I know you've heard of, is Robert the Doll.
Oh, Robert. Yep.
Okay. A lot of people have heard about Robert the Doll. So Robert the Doll was from Key West, Florida.
Yep.
Okay. So there was an artist. His name was Robert Eugene Otto, and they called him Gene. Okay. And he was given the doll at the age of 4. He was 4 years old when he received this doll. And after he received the doll, there were strange things started happening. Now, this doll, it's not really human looking, but it's really weird. It's a strange looking doll.
Yep.
Its face reminds me of a monkey.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yep.
And it's wearing a sailor suit, a little sailor hat and a white sailor suit. Okay. So one of the stories was the parents had talked about they would hear Gene giggling at night with something, and they could hear like 2 different sets of laughter.
Yep.
Okay. So there were times they would walk past rooms and there'd be furniture overturned in rooms, and the kid would be having nightmares, and a lot of his toys would vanish, and some of them would get mutilated, and his answer was always the same: Robert did it.
Yep. Something
just very creepy.
Well, I don't know what else you got on that. But.
Well, Robert, basically what ended up happening is the parents banished Robert to the attic. They put him up in the attic. Well, then after they did that, they started getting reports from neighbors claiming that they were seeing something, a small figure moving in the windows of the attic. And they assume it was him. So what ended up happening with the doll is the doll is now kept in what is called Key West Fort East Mortello Museum. I think I'm saying that right. Mortello Museum. And they keep him behind a glass case, and they tell people that if you want to take a picture of Robert, you need to ask him permission first, because if you don't, he will curse you. Not like cuss you out or anything, but curse you and follow you home.
Yeah. See, I thought, and I might be wrong, but I remember with Robert the doll, didn't his parent, that auto guy, his parents were rich, right?
I think so.
And then they moved. The family moved from that house. They had still owned the house. The family moved from that house. And then
did they leave the doll in the
yes,
attic? Okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
the doll stayed, and the family moved from that place. They kept the house; it was theirs.
Right.
But when the family moved, Otto grew up or whatever. Then he found got a wife or whatever. Well, him and his wife moved back to that house
in Key West.
Okay. And if I remember correctly, I want to say that they moved overseas to England or something like that. And then he moved back with his wife, and his parents gave them that house. Well, from what I remember the story, Otto, or Gene, we'll call him.
Yeah, Gene is what they call him.
Gene had a huge fascination with Robert the doll.
Right,
They were always together 24/7. He talked to him constantly. Well, whenever they moved back to the house, him and his wife moved back. I can't remember if he had a kid or not, so I'm just going to go off of what I know. When they moved back, he found Robert the doll back in the attic. And it down spiraled from there, and I believe he got divorced
after that.
After the doll.
Yeah, I was thinking the same story there.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that part of the story. Yeah. And I think there were some other stories about that too, though. That like his parents, they had some slaves, of course.
Right.
And they were from I can't remember where, but they're doing some hoodoo or voodoo or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they're the one. This is another story, another variation. Right. And his main caretaker, Gene's main caretaker, who really loved him a lot, took care of him, was basically his mother, basically, because his parents were never around. And she had basically something happened, and the mother got rid of her and their other slaves, then traded them off for different ones because of, I think, Gene's affection for her or whatever. Okay. So she had made, for lack of a better term, possessed the doll. Okay. To watch over him.
To watch over him and protect
like
him
that.
And stuff, yeah.
Yeah. That's another story of it. Yeah. Part of the story.
Yeah, there's a lot to that story. I just hit the highlights on it.
Yeah, there's a whole lot to that story because I remember hearing that one on Hillbilly Horror Stories.
Okay. Yeah. There's actually a really good show. It may have been on that Haunted Objects show because there is a show called Haunted Objects.
Yes. Yep.
Is that what it's called?
Haunted Possessions or something.
Haunted Things.
Haunted Things, that's
is
right.
what it is. And I think it was on there. They were talking about it. But
well, what I was going to tell you is I was listening to one of your favorites, Jim Harold's the Paranormal Podcast.
Yeah.
And they had
the guys from Hillbilly Horror Story. Yeah,
I listened to that one today.
Yeah, I saw that was coming up, and I was like, oh man, I need to download that and listen to
that one today. So yeah, you'll like it.
That's
it's
cool.
Good.
Cool.
It's good.
Hell yeah. So anyway, and Robert plays right along with, and we're not going to get into her right now, but right along with Annabelle.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they're together or anything like that. Ooh, Robert's dating Annabelle. But Robert and Annabelle sitting in a tree. Oh,
knifing everyone they see.
Yeah, there you go. But we'll get into Annabelle at a different time because that's going to be a long story there.
Yeah.
But very creepy story. Very creepy.
Yeah, this is cool.
So anyway, we're going to move on because I've just got a couple other things here that I want to touch on. So this is funny. I've got a couple eBay ones, like you had just done. Mine's not a brawl though. There is a painting out there called "The Hands Resist Him." Very creepy painting. In fact, I am going to pull up. I thought I was. Maybe I'm not. Anyway.
Donkey sex.
Yeah.
What is browser?
I don't know what that is. What has my wife been looking at? That's crazy.
That's crazy talk.
That's crazy. But anyway, there is a painting that's called "The Hands Resist Him," and it was sold on eBay back in February of 2000, and it sold for $1,025 for this painting. It's a very creepy painting. It's a painting of a little boy standing next to what looks like a doll, and they're standing in front of like a glass pane door, and in the glass you can see handprints. Yeah. Okay. This painting was just a painting that a guy did, and I don't remember the guy's name, and I didn't write it down. I should have. But the story behind this is that the people that have owned this painting have caught what they claim to be movement, like these kids will move within the painting, sometimes moving outside the painting.
Ooh.
There's been stories of. One guy bought this painting for his mother and gave it to her, and shortly after he gave it to her, she had a stroke.
Well, yeah, look at the damn painting.
It is a creepy painting.
Why would you give that to your mom?
It really is.
Here you go, Mommy.
Well, it's a cute kid, Yeah,
he
looks like he's possessed by.
Looks like he's possessed by
hell, but,
cuter than hell.
But this is another one that circulated on eBay.
I almost want to buy that thing.
Yeah. There's another painting of there's one called The Anguished Man.
Yes.
Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now I didn't do any kind of research on that. I just thought about that one off the top of my head. I should have looked into that. I was doing this. The Anguished Man was another painting that was claimed to have some paranormal activity associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
But then the big one, another eBay find, was the Dybbuk box.
Yeah.
Okay. Which we all know, the movie The Possession, which came out in 2012, was based on a true story.
It was
actually based on the story of this Dybbuk box.
I like that movie.
That was basically, it was owned by a Jewish woman who used it. It's a wine box. It's for holding wine or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she lived to the age of 103 years old. Okay. And she claimed that before she died, that there was an evil entity or demon or whatever that lived inside this box. And she made everybody promise that they would never open this box. Okay? So it ended up in an estate sale, and it went up for sale on eBay, and it ended up selling on eBay in 2003. And with the note of, this is what it is, this is what this woman claims it to be, don't open this box. So, and now I'm realizing I got my facts wrong. This is the item that the guy gave to his mother, and she ended up having a stroke shortly after he gave it to her.
Yeah, I remember that.
Of course, he wasn't supposed to open it. The first thing he did was opened it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories about this thing. Basically, the guy, once he got a hold of it, he couldn't get rid of it. The only way to get rid of the thing was to sell it to somebody else. So he had given it away to somebody that lived states away, hundreds and hundreds of miles away, and he thought he was through with it. And he got up one morning, and went to walk out his front door, and it was sitting on his porch again with a note on it stating that there's too much dark energy associated with this box. We don't want it. And the guy, to my knowledge, the guy has not been able to get rid of this.
Well, and of course, who wants to have it now? You guys' favorite TV show host, Zach Baggins.
Yeah.
And he just had a big, huge episode about him opening up the divot box.
Oh, did he really?
Yep.
Okay.
Just happened, literally not even.
So that'd be a good way to get some information off of that, guys, is watch Zach Baggins and all his glory.
Yeah.
Open a divot box.
Yeah, he did it on live TV on his show for, I think it was Halloween special or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool story.
That movie's really good too, The Possession.
Yeah.
It
was good.
I actually like that movie quite a bit.
It was.
But
I love that part when all the, black, I guess it's like ectoplasm or whatever is spewing out of this girl. Yeah, cool movie. Yeah. So the last thing I want to talk about is Thomas Busby's stoop chair. So there was this man. He was he drank a lot, and he liked to get in fights with people or whatever. He got in a fight with a guy for sitting in his chair. Ended up getting kicked out. He showed back up later on that night, and he ended up beating this guy to death just for sitting in his chair.
What happens, man?
So, don't sit in this dude's chair.
Sit in my chair, man.
I farted in that chair. Don't sit in it.
It's got the right kind of sweet.
So, yeah. So, anyway, I've seen pictures of this thing. It's just a wooden kitchen table chair, I mean, it just doesn't look anything special. But apparently, that was his chair, damn it, and don't you sit in it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, he ended up getting tried and convicted of murdering this guy, okay? So, they decided they were going to hang him across the street from some business. They were going to make an example out of him. They were going to hang him, and they were going to tar him out, outside on the street so that everybody could see. And they were going to put a cage around him after they hung him. Okay, so on the way to his execution, he talked the guys into allowing him to have one last drink at his favorite pub. Okay, so they obliged. Okay, we're going to kill this guy. We'll let him have one last drink. So they take him in this pub, and they let him have one last drink. So he ends up going in this pub and sitting in this chair. And while he was sitting in this chair, he cursed it. And he told everybody, he yelled out loud, "May sudden death come to anyone who dare sit in my chair." So then they execute this guy. So years later, weird stuff started happening with this chair. They would notice that it would move sometimes. People that would sit in it sometimes would get deathly sick. There was a story about a guy that had a heart attack while he was sitting in that chair. This chair ended up going to a museum and was in this museum sitting on the floor, and with, don't sit in the chair, it's a cursed object or whatever. They had so many problems with people trying to sit in this chair that they finally had to take this chair and hang it from the ceiling to keep people from being able to sit in it, because they were having so many problems with, somebody would sit in the chair and then weeks later they'd end up getting a divorce, or, they would end up going to the hospital for some rare, whatever, just no explanation behind it other than this sumbitch cursed this chair. Yeah. That must have been a damn good chair.
Shoot, yeah, son. So you sat there and get drunk all the time.
So, but
you gotta do sometimes, man. Sometimes you got.
Don't sit in my chair.
Like people sitting in my chair.
I yell at my wife all the time for sitting in my recliner. Get out of my recliner.
I bought a recliner a long ass time ago. I never sat in a damn thing.
Really? I sit in mine naked.
Anyway.
Dude, it was nice talking to you, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been at least a couple weeks since we actually sat down.
We just talked about all kinds of weird shit tonight.
So I like it, man. You ain't always got to have freaking set schedule to talk about something.
Oh, yeah.
Every now and again, we'll have these bullshit sessions.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds like a
We
plan
did throw
to me.
some work in there a little bit. But,
yeah.
Most of it, it was all in good fun.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And let us know. Hit us up on Facebook. The Horror Chronicles Podcast. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah. Send us some emails. horrorchroniclespodcast@gmail.com.
And I mean, we're going to be doing some more things. There's going to be some stuff happening here in the next year,
Yeah, we're just getting fired up.
Just getting started, folks. So, thanks for listening. And as always, until next time,
keep it creepy.